faculty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? How you doing? Not that I haven't seen you guys several times, and I hope I'm not lagging because I can see my internet kind of doing that. You guys, just when you think it settles down and you can see down there, breaking news. It's pretty freaking wild. I think we just heard the interview, you guys. I'm going to get into it quick. Breaking news. Madeline Soto's chorus teacher, her direct chorus teacher, Italo Brett, was arrested for. And now this is at Hunters Creek Middle School, directly the chorus teacher that we all heard about. They didn't even tell us it was a chorus teacher. So as you guys come in, do me a favor and hit the like button. Now, choir, they call him chorus teacher. You say choir, I say the chorus teacher. That's what they told me. So I got a phone call, so whatever, the chorus, choir, tomato. I got a message from the ladies over there in Florida and said, look at this. And I'm going to show you before I even get into it. Thank you so much for the $49.99 super sticker. I'm going to show you real quick. Like I said, tomato. We'll get into the details in just a second. Here it is. And he doesn't use his name, so I'm going to do another article. He uses Italo Brett. His last name's Bonini, but they call him Mr. Brett. His name is, in fact, Italo Brett Bonini. Now, I'm going to show you guys the news. I'm going to show you the article in a little bit. So, Hunters Creek Middle School, the chorus teacher or choir. We'll look at the article in a second. I read music teacher. They told me chorus, and you're telling me choir. So again, school music teacher. And in the interview, they didn't even tell us, you guys. They didn't tell us what teacher Italo Brett was. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, it's tomato, potato. Chorus, school choir, school music teacher are arrested. And you're going to hear the article in a second for online sex acts. He was in Hunter's middle school teacher, music teacher, was arrested on federal charges for enticing children to perform sex acts online, according to the federal affidavit. Now, his full name is Italo Brett Bonini. So I'm going to do another article, and on the other article, you guys, I'm going to put him on blast. Do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and get your membership if you don't have one. I'm going to show you where Madeline Soto is in this real quick. There she is right there, y'all. Right there. That's where she's filling out and getting grown up. I'm going to back up a little bit. There is the chorus, choir, and music teacher. There he is, Mr. Brett Italo, and there's Maddie. Okay, so thank you to the ladies that sent me this breaking news from Florida. It really is breaking news from Florida because it's Hunters Creek Middle School, and my internet is being weird, Krista. So we'll have to work it out. I'll restart after. I'll restart. I can't. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what's going on. I just upgraded. Anyhow, yeah, there's Maddie right there. You guys can see her. There's the school teacher. I'm going to show you the other one. And let's get to this real quick. Let me back out of here. And where's the other one? I'm going to pull this down, pull this up. And you guys want to know something else? He was posting about Maddie, and there's more than one, but here's the post that directly came from a Tallow Brett Jr. He was posting about Madeline Soto being missing and the things that happened, you guys. Is that, I mean, yeah, first of all, you can't trust anyone. Hunters Creek Middle School music teacher got arrested for enticing children online with sex things. He posted about Maddie. It's another teacher at Hunters Creek Middle School, and I can see that I'm glitching. I don't know why. Again, I have work going on at my house, so hopefully it goes better. Thank you so much, Karen Sorrentino, for the $10 super sticker. All right, let me read this to you, and then we'll get to the article. Again, if I'm glitching, I apologize. I can't help it. We're having construction done at my house, and I there's nothing I can do. All right, so there's the Madeline Soto when she was last seen missing. This Chomo predator posts about her on February 27th. Madeline is still missing as of this afternoon. If you have any information that could be in any help, please contact Crime Line or myself, and I will be relayed to the proper authorities. Let's bring her home. Madeline Soto from this predator, Italo Brett, last name Bonini, guys. All right. So, you guys have to know, you guys cannot trust anyone. Don't trust anyone. Mitchell Riggin was the first one at Petter. Yes, this is not the same one. This is Hunters Creek Middle School. We had Mitchell Riggin first, and now we've got a direct correlation with Madeline Soto. This guy was her teacher. I just showed you the picture. All right. So thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the support, the like, the subscribes, super chat, super stickers. All right. I'm going to show you the article. We still have our episode that we're doing today, but as you can tell, I'm very heated about this because my daughter's at school right now, and now her mom's picking her up today. So I know those of you that always help me and say, can you pick up Reese? But my wife is home. So my wife has got my daughter today. I'm going to show you the video, but there's the article. Federal affidavit, Orange County teacher arrested for enticing children to perform online acts. All right, let's see if I can open this bad boy up. All right, hold on. Let's let that pass, and then I'll do it. But yeah, it's going through, and I don't want to show you guys a commercial. And you always have to go through the commercials because I don't know why. Hold on real quick. I'm just going to delete that. Let's start over. All right. Play. I'm going to play it, and then I'll let you. I don't want to make you guys read that again. Maddie's directives. All right. I'm going to play it for you now. Let's go. Hit the like button on your way in.
Breaking news, a teacher at Hunters Creek Middle School has been arrested.
Orange County Public Schools just confirmed the identity of that teacher. Let's get straight to West 2's Michelle Meredith live outside the school with the late breaking details. Michelle.
Well, the teacher's name is Italo Brett Bonini, and he's facing federal charges of basically enticing children to perform sex acts in front of a computer so he could watch. Now, Bonini was a music teacher here at Hunters Creek Middle School, and at first we didn't know much about the charges, but we knew they were serious because he's not allowed back on campus, even at a desk job, until the investigation is completed.
Isn't that weird to even say that he's not allowed back even at a desk job? Now, this guy is directly correlated to Madeline Soto. He was, in fact, her music teacher, and she could have been left alone. Teacher, leave the kids alone. Words of Alice Cooper, right? Leave them kids alone. I agree. Now, I'm going to do another. I'm going to do another video just about Italo. I'm going to blast his face so that the entire planet that shares and likes and subscribes to my channel can see his name, and when they see him in Florida, that they go the other way. They don't trust this music teacher, because now when he doesn't work, guess what he's going to do? He's going to put out ads that say music teacher, personal music lessons at your house. Yes, this was right now. This just happened. Breaking news. Brett Italo, I'm going to show you after. This is the chorus teacher, and I showed you earlier. I'm going to show you the audio of who it is.
Now, the federal affidavit says the music teacher made contact with two 8-year-old boys in Maryland and was allegedly enticing them to perform sex acts in front of the camera, sometimes on each other. In exchange, according to investigators, he promised his victims currency for video games. Parents at the school got this message from the principal this morning.
This individual will not be returning to school during the investigation. Please be assured that we take all allegations very seriously, as the safety of our students and staff is always my top priority.
I'm going to pause it just for a quick second. Now, Hurricane, do you know who Italo Brett is? Because he wasn't even using his full name, which is interesting to me, because when we read the article, he doesn't use his name. His name is Mr. Brett. Italo Brett, and then Bonini. So I bet if we did a deep dive on him, which we are after, because I'm going to blast his face all over the internet, that he would have a record. Italo Brett Bonini. Yes, he doesn't use his name, but there's got to be a reason why. This is traumatizing students, right? The trial's coming up. Everybody's remembering Maddie, and then we got this guy happening, and he's doing it to male victims, it seems like, but nonetheless, we don't know about if there are other females.
Now, investigators said when questioned, Bonina said he fell into temptation that I should not have. I'm not a sick person. I made a mistake. Live in Orange County.
Oh my God. That is the classic predator response. I made a mistake. And I'm paying for it. That's a classic response, you guys. Classic response means nothing. It means that you're not going to be rehabilitated unless you get your winky off, and you can't use your winky, and then they give you a lobotomy. Sorry, I'm never going to say anything good about those type of people. Predators, chomos, people that attack children, you guys. They are the lowest of low scum on this earth and this planet. And they prey upon the weak and the children that are trusting and don't know better. So I don't care. There's no rehabilitating for these monsters. I don't want them near me. Teresa K, thank you for the $2 super chat. Look at Mitchell Regan arrested in October. Same school. Now, I did a breaking news on Mitchell Regan on my channel as well. Yes, I called it his pinky winky because he has a pink mark on his pinky. All right, so let me read this real quick, and I'll show you, and then we'll get into what's going on the episode. Thank you so much, Teresa K from Florida, my girl. Thank you. It was a mistake because he got caught. That's it, period. He got caught. He's a horrible person, and we're going to look into him, and he's not going to be rehabilitated, and they're not going to do much about it, just so you guys know. He's going to get a couple of slaps on the wrist, and then he's going to be out. That's it. So we need to make sure everybody knows who he is, and do not hire this man, and do not let this man be around your children. All right. I don't have a picture of him just yet because this just came out. So like I said, Hunters Creek Middle School, you guys can see his name, Italo Brett. He didn't use his full name, but Bonini. Orange County Public School. He was confirmed today, federal charges for enticing children to perform acts online, according to the affidavit. Now, I'm not going to say Bonini. I'm going to say Brett Italo was a music teacher at Hunters Creek Middle School. Initially, details about the charges were scarce, but it was clear that they were serious, as he has not been reassigned to a desk position. Do not give this man any position near any children at a school. That makes my blood boil. And he was not allowed back on campus until the investigation was completed. Now, I tell you guys, if the investigation's completed and they let that man back at that school, please pull your children out of that school. Do not let your children go to Hunters Creek Middle School. That's 2 predators, and they're just talking about putting him on a desk job. No way, guys. No way. We're going to haunt this guy. We're not going to let them hire this guy back at Hunters Creek Middle School. Okay? So let's not do that. Mistake. That's the classic predator response. I made a mistake, period. If someone ever says that to you, just look at them and say, get out of my presence, you awful demon predator chomo. Get away from me. I want nothing to do with you. And then tell everybody, this is Maddie's school in Florida. This is at Hunters Creek Middle School, Hunters Creek, Florida. You see that? Orange County. That was Madeline Soto's teacher, her music teacher. Now, the affidavits state that Brett Italo made contact with 2 8-year-old boys in Maryland because he was online, guys. He's in Florida. These boys were in Maryland online, enticing them to perform sex acts in front of a computer, sometimes with each other. Investigators, he promised the boys currency, what we don't know what kind, for video games in exchange. Now, parents at Hunters Creek Middle School received the following message from the principal, which we saw. This individual will not be returning to our school during the investigation. Please be assured that we will take all allegations very seriously, as the safety of our students and staff is always a priority. According to the criminal complaint, when questioned, Brett Italo Bonini told federal guest investigators, I fell into temptation I should not have. Brett Italo, I am not a sick individual. I made a mistake. All right, so him saying that means he's a sick individual, and we should blast him for this. That's how I feel about it. All right, guys. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad I got to get that out there. I'm going to show you this real quick, and just for a minute, I'm going to show you his name and the guy that we've been listening to at Maddie's school. He was her teacher directly, or they wouldn't have done an interview with him. So look at here. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, obviously, but his name is Italo Brett, last name Bonini. Do me a favor, smash that like button. There's 240 people in chat. And if you guys hit that like button, subscribe and share, that would be awesome. Thank you guys. Find his Facebook page. Let's blast him on social media so he does not, and I repeat, does not pick up a private job of teaching children music, please. I always have to be aware of my phone so I don't miss something. Thank you, Nikki, for being a member for 2 months. And we all hope everyone's well. We've all struggled in our own way. Dan Pickering, thank you. IJ, new member from Canada. Love your show. Thank you. Shout out to Diane Pickering. She's a new member of Guilty of Crime. She's part of the crime crew now. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Italo Brett, you guys. Italo Brett. His last name is Bonini. You got him, Jeep. You got him. All right. Let's listen to his voice for a minute and just know that they didn't want us to know what teacher. They didn't want us to know the teacher because they blurted out. They bleeped it out. Listen for a moment, please.
Your first name for me, please.
My name is Italo.
Spell it for me.
Italo.
What's your last name?
Brett. Brett.
Okay. So, Mr. Brett, you are a teacher here at Meadowwoods, or I'm sorry, not Meadowwoods.
Hunters Creek.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I just had a couple of questions for you in reference to
Madeline
assume that
Soto.
she was one of your students. Would that be correct?
She was, yes.
Okay. What period did you have her in?
I had her initially in 6th period for the start of the year.
Okay.
She requested we move to 3rd period because she was having some issues of like not being able to keep up, or rather, she was keeping up. So it was too many behavioral issues around her. So she was getting tired. She requested to move to 3rd.
So not behavioral issues like specifically with her, but with other kids that were in your class that she didn't like.
Correct. Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Did she ever talk to you about her home life, anything that was going on with her? Anything like that? She never said anything to you. Did at any point did she ever disclose any sort of physical or
Yeah, we're not listening to the whole thing, but that is the pervert speaking. That is Italo Brett. We're not going to listen to his whole interview. I just wanted you guys to have this and for me to be able to document it on my show. that this is the guy that gave the interview with the police officers. This was the guy that was supposed to be protecting that little girl and all children, because right, you take a vow, you give an oath to, I've never been in a school district, but there's things that you learn and there's things that you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to protect these children. And I don't, Chatterbox says there was a gay male high school teacher in my city soliciting one of his students. The student was 16, questioning his sexuality. He knew the teacher was gay, so he went to him. Not surprising at all. I mean, yeah. All right, we're gonna listen just for another moment because they start talking about the abuse on Maddie. Did they know if there's any abuse? And they got this guy talking and posting about her. And then we're gonna get into today's show. Do we think that the Madeline Soto saga of her being pregnant is gonna come out, and we're just gonna say there's no charges for it, so she's not, because we don't know about the documents that are going to come out. And there's not, all of you weren't here today, so I'm going to play a quick clip from earlier of Court TV that talks about the trial coming for Stephen Stearns. Okay, and then we're going to listen to the interviews with the children. Paula from Plunder, I linked her in my description, and I linked the full video. So if you want to watch that yourself, you're certainly free to do so. It's almost the opposite of what I'm talking about today. So when you listen to the Court TV, we listen to the Court TV content talking about her not being pregnant because there's no charges, and then you listen to that and they talk about her wearing a big hoodie, and maybe it's like fire and water mixing. And I do want to say, I just showed at the beginning a picture of Maddie with Italo Brett. She was in his, Madeline Soto loved to sing, you guys. That was her teacher, and I showed you, go back to the beginning and you can watch, and you'll see the picture of Maddie with that predator. Okay, let's see. Let me just play this for a second. I had to talk about the abuse, and then we're going to get into in today's show. Man, there's been a lot today, huh?
Sexual or mental abuse to you? Okay. Did she mention anything to you about having any suicidal ideations?
Wow.
Ever making any attempts at suicide?
Oh, that word.
Did she ever express to you at any time if she had any mental or medical diagnosis?
No.
Okay. Did she discuss taking any medications with you for anything?
No, the only time I've ever seen her take anything was Tylenol.
Okay.
In the front office, Michelle could confirm with that too, because we both kind of saw her because we were trying to figure out how to sure that she was okay to take those.
Okay.
So.
Did you notice any sort of like recent changes in her behavior from the start of the school year until now?
Not really, no. She just seemed happier within the third period.
Okay, so guys, ladies, let's hope we're not going to listen to this again. I just wanted to show you there's an interview. Let's hope that he did not, for some crazy way, ever interact with Maddie in those circumstances. I think, and when I hear his voice and I see him, I think somebody nailed it. I think that he probably was into, that he probably is, that he is gay. By preference, and he was messing around with little boys online. We see that, and this is by no means, this is in my opinion, allegedly. He has not been convicted of anything. So here are the pictures that we quickly dug up of him. He looks very young on here, but then here he looks, that's him. You can see the back of him at Disney. That makes sense. So there he is. We saw a picture of the back of his head earlier on. That is Italo Brett, who we just saw. And again, we will do a full story on that, but not right now. But let's say a prayer for Maddie and hope that, he never did anything and abused her or any of the children other than what they caught at the school. And thank you, Bree, for sending that. Again, we're gonna do more research into that. Right now, we just wanted to, he admitted it. Most of the time they do admit it and they get a slap on the wrist, you guys, and then they're out and they do it again. So that's how that goes. All right, so if you guys didn't watch this earlier, we're gonna throw this up real quick because we are literally a week away from the pretrial for Stephen Stearns and the CSAM. Okay, so I'm going to play this real quick, and we're going to, and they bring on a former prosecutor who tells us that since the charges have not come out, there are no charges for Madeline Soto being pregnant, then she probably isn't and probably wasn't. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And again, that was not about this episode today, but it was breaking news from Florida, and that was Madeline Soto's former music teacher, and she interacted with him daily. She loved singing. We know that about the Sister Act, when Stephen Stearns said they were watching Sister Act, and he told her that Sister Act could sing better than her. Let's watch Sister Act. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, just like Stephen Stearns, right? A grown-ass man hugging Mickey and then getting online and looking for little boys. No sympathy. No sympathy for predators and chomos. Lowest scum on the bottom of the earth.
Stearns will be in court 1 week from today for a pretrial hearing. This week, he filed a motion arguing that Florida's death penalty is unconstitutional. Stearns' attorneys say that aspects of a Florida law that outline aggravating factors are overly vague and subject to being applied in an arbitrary and inconsistent manner. Now, Stearns is separately facing dozens of charges that he sexually abused Madeline and will go to trial later this month on those charges. Let's get you caught up on the case evidence. Here's Court TV's Cody Thomas.
All right.
We know digital forensic evidence has been central to the investigation.
And again, just to clarify things, if you guys didn't see this and you haven't been watching TV today or Court TV or the news, we just got another case in with a not guilty because evidence that didn't come into the jury. Okay, it didn't come into the jury, and this Colin Griffith guy got off on red rumming his mother. He red rummed his father, and the jury did not come into the jury about him taking the life of his father, and he got a not guilty for taking the life of his mother. So we don't want that to happen in this case with all of the affidavits and motions and all the filing that the defense is doing. We don't want that to happen, because if something doesn't get put into the case, the capital murder death penalty case, he can get off. He might not walk off or get a not guilty, but he's going to get a way lesser and you guys can't say no one can say I'm out of line when you see the Colin Griffith case and her mom's neck ran into a knife. Can your neck run into a knife? Is that possible? It's scary. It's scary. So just think about that as we get into the trials.
And to the death of Madeline Soto. And I traveled to Osceola County, Florida to get a firsthand look at the crime scenes. What quickly became apparent is just how much surveillance video the prosecution should have. So we will begin right here at the Venetian Bay Apartments where Jen Soto and Stephen Stearns and Madeline lived. We'll pause right here just to get a scope of the scene and how protected this complex was. First and foremost, a security guard is out front, so no one's coming in and out without having to check in with this guy. We see that a car right here was already getting checked when I was there a few months ago.
And now, see, we're mixing things already, even on Court TV, because we're talking about the pretrial that's coming up for the CSAM stuff, and we're looking at the entrance and the cameras of what caught Maddie no longer alive. That evidence may not even make it into that trial at all. As a matter of fact, we don't know much about that trial, and I'm speculating because it's coming next week. But if they don't tell the jurors about her already being unalive, then they're not going to know the part that we're talking about right now. So think about that, you guys. Think about that. So this is not even that case. The case that's coming up is the 60 CSAM charges. And red rum is just a way of saying murder. We try not to say murder because then we don't get out to everybody to let them know what's happening. All right. Good. I'm Good Trouble. Thank you for being a member for 7 months. And welcome, Carrie. Good to see you. Yeah, just like Ellen, there's no way, but the civil suit says another thing as well. All right. I don't want to confuse people. Let's keep going.
Also, what we notice, cameras over here and a big gate. So this is not just a complex that anyone can roll into and roll out of. Now we'll move along to the back gate. Now this gate is where prosecutors say they have video of Stephen Stearns here yet again, more cameras, going in and out on the morning that Madeline went missing to the dumpster, also in the complex. What do we have? More cameras, even here looking at the dumpster. Now, what's important to note about this dumpster here is that this is where police say they found Madeline's backpack and school-issued laptop. And also they say they have Stearns on video throwing those things away. This is around the time that she was found and declared dead, but what's important is this memorial is right in front of.
And he nailed right where it is, because if you count the bamboo trees in, it's 3 bamboo trees in, and you know, rest in peace, Madeline Soto. You guys remember, go check the community page so you can share that. If you don't have the means to donate locks, share it, and other people will. I trust me. I love this video. It's the best one in the entire case. Guilty of crime. Thank you. I appreciate you, Carrie, so much. I hope you keep with us as the trial starts and as it continues. Just chuck her stuff like the way, and he did that to her too. He just left her out there like trash, Flossie. Just left her out there with nothing. He threw a couple of tree bamboo pieces and tree sticks over her just like trash. Welcome, Lori Honey Badger Don't Care. Welcome. I love the Honey Badger Don't Care video series. All right, let's keep going, guys, because we really want to get into that audio tonight and talk about why we keep thinking that Madeline's still pregnant. We don't know yet, but more than likely there's not been charges out. So if it hasn't come out, then they have nothing to prove it. They have her body, unlike Naziah Harris. May she rest in peace. All right.
This area right here, because in these trees, in that thicket of trees, is where Madeline's body was eventually found by police about 5 days after she went missing. Now, of course, all this was leading up to the eventual arrest of Stephen Stearns in March of 2024, when police picked him up on sexual assault charges. Stearns was then later charged with the murder of Madeline Soto.
Damn.
That was Cody Thomas, Court TV reporter, talking about this case. Now let's bring in the former state attorney in Palm Beach.
I'm just gonna go a little farther, and because they're sit there like, "Hi, I love you." Oh.
Yes, Julie, great to be back with you. In fact, the first week after I went into private practice, I was teaching at Harvard Law School's trial advocacy workshop with Linda Kenny Bodden, who was just on your show.
Okay.
Oh my
and
God.
Joe 2 degrees, our 1 degree separation of Julie Grant, the big family.
Next time you all are teaching.
Yeah, they're like love fest. I love it, but he's a former prosecutor. He knows the Florida laws over there, guys. All right. Let's keep going. How do you watch a 2.5 hour movie in less than 30 minutes? You put it on fast forward. What I don't want to do here.
I want to come to the class and I'll be a witness or something. I'll offer to be a witness for the kids and give them some practice. Oh my goodness. Okay, Dave. So let's start here. I want to start here with the choice prosecutors are making to try the sex abuse case before the homicide case. What do you think about that move?
You know, it's interesting because usually you'd go for the more serious one first, because after all, the murder charge carries the death penalty. You could seek the death penalty on the sex charges under Florida's law, although.
Okay, and again, he knows Florida's law, former prosecutor. We're talking this out next week, pretrial hearing 1 week from today, you guys. Roxanne Macias, if we believe at all what the caller, and not that we don't believe the caller, but the caller last Friday said she thinks she saw Jen Soto in Ocala with a couple of girls in a car getting in the car. So if that was actually Jen Soto in Ocala, Florida, we know where she's hiding. She's not shopping around the area. She's going out of town. But we do know she's staying with her sister. But when she goes out, she's got to go at least an hour and a half away, put on some big bug-eyed glasses, and go hide out from us. So, all right, let's get into this, the legal stuff about Stephen Stearns' pretrial hearing, which is next week.
It's a relatively new law, and they haven't tested the constitutionality yet. So if this defendant, Stephen Stearns, wanted to challenge the death penalty as it applies to the sex abuse, I think actually he may have a claim there, but the state is not seeking the death penalty for the sexual abuse, which perhaps is why they're going first. They think they've got him dead to rights on the sexual abuse. They're not seeking the death penalty. It's going to be easier and faster. Let's get that out of the way. And then when he's found guilty of that charge, they can use that as an aggravating factor to seek the death penalty in the murder case. So I think that's why they're going first with the sexual abuse.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for that, because that was a head scratcher. When I saw them thinking, what? Why aren't they going with the homicide case?
All right, so yeah, they're not going with the homicide case first. They're going with the CSAM first, and this happens 1 week from today, and that's why we're talking about everybody's in a tizzy. All all these motions are being filed, but not for this case. So I cannot wait to see what comes out of this case. But what hasn't come out is any motions, any charges for another person. Well, Maddie being pregnant, let's just say it that way. And I can't help the way court TV talks. Unfortunately, I try to stay away from the MURDE. We know how to spell that word, and there's nothing I can do. So it is what it is. You guys have to do your part by liking and subscribing and sharing it to get the word out, because YouTube just doesn't like the real words, even though, that's how it is. All right, let's keep going. I want to get to the audios. I cannot wait to hear those with you
first. And we know that's what he's so fixated on. He's fixated, of course he is, on potentially getting the death penalty here. Do you think the motion his defense team has filed could have some teeth when it comes to attacking the Florida law that's currently on the books?
No, that is a reach, and it shows how desperate he is to avoid the death penalty, and that could give a little bit of satisfaction to those of us who think this guy is one of the worst, and the way he made Madeline suffer, allegedly, is just so horrific. It's hard to even put your head around it. And now we see him desperately scared of getting this death penalty. So there's a little bit of schadenfreude there, I think, in what's going on. But I don't think he's going to win on any of these claims. These aggravators have been around for a long time, since 1996, and they're used continuously in capital cases. I use them many times as a prosecutor, as a state attorney. So the fact that he's now saying that after so many years of this, 28 years plus, that this is all unconstitutional, that ain't going anywhere.
Dave, thank you this is helpful to know we're getting ready for trial number 1 to start just in a couple of weeks, if you can believe it. I have an interview clip up.
Right? Bam, like you say. And that's what's going to happen in this trial. And we all, as the trial approaches and then the other one approaches and such, we're all such a tight-knit community. We'll all just have to either agree to disagree or be nice about the I told you so's, because we're going to hear more about what's happening, why, who, what, when, where, all that stuff. And the people that are speculating one way and the other people are speculating another, including myself. But I'm not going to come on there and say, told you so. I'm going to say, oh my goodness, we read the clues and we saw it. And then the next case, we know what to look for. All right, let's keep going.
I want to play for you now, Dave. This is from one of Madeline Soto's friends, and she's talking to investigators about how...
And they're only just going to play a clip, and then from the wonderful Plunder True Crime, we'll listen to those together, you guys. And I appreciate you so much. It's all happening fast, right? It's coming up on a year.
Madeline was wearing baggy clothing in the recent weeks before she vanished. And we know there's been a lot of speculation around the idea that she perhaps could have been pregnant. We know mom was questioned about that. So let's take a listen to what her friend said.
Did Maddie talk to you about if she was feeling ill or sick or anything like that?
No, but I did notice that she was wearing more baggy clothes than usual. Like, usually her, I don't know if this is weird or anything. I didn't notice that. I'm a hairstyle person. But usually she'd wear hoodies that are baggy, not really that baggy. And then I noticed she started wearing more baggy clothes and more longer hoodies. I remember my friends did tell me, like, she did talk about her friends, like her stepdad. But it was only, like, good things.
Now, I wanted to take a break there because I think this is the first time I've said this on here. I've been hearing it over and over. My daughter loves baggy clothes, and that had nothing to do with it. So, Alexis, prayers to you about that, and for all of the children that have survivors that have gone through that. My daughter, and well, you guys have seen pictures of me and my daughter. I'm 4'11". She's right beneath my chin now, so she wears the same clothes as I do. So I wear, except of course I'm a lot thicker, we'll call it. I wear a large hoodie. I can wear medium, but I like large to move around, and she loves large hoodies and being baggy, and so do her little friends that are in 5th and 6th grade. They just like to wear that. So it could be a toss-up. It could be that, but it also could be a nothing burger, right? Because they just want to be comfy. My daughter likes to, when she doesn't feel good, she'll put her hood over her, and kind of, she has ADHD, so she gets really like overstimulated, and she just wants like her binky, you know, my baby, you guys know. All right. Yeah, I'm a shorty. It's your birthday.
Only good things. Wow. Focusing in on just that part at the end there first. Dave, what's your reaction when you hear this child relate that to the officer?
That part shook me about only good things. Well, yeah, Madeline was a child, and she was sleeping in the same bed with Stephen Stearns. And, to think that maybe there was some sort of Stockholm syndrome there or something else, I mean, you can see that happening. It doesn't at all alleviate his culpability. In fact, it can make it worse because you see the control he had over her. This guy's in a whole lot of trouble. And he, I think, is going to be found guilty in both cases. And when he's given the death penalty, which I think is almost certain, I think extremely likely, the Florida courts are very conservative now, very pro-death penalty. So now this guy is dead to rights, metaphorically speaking.
Probably on both ways. And you know what? We still don't have a clear explanation because he had Maddie in that car that day, and then he went back that night with Jen's car. So, I mean, things are going to be coming out. We're not getting into the capital case yet. We're talking about the CSAM next week, and that's where it gets confusing and where we're going to get very upset when we start hearing court proceedings and we don't hear about all of the things that he's done allegedly. We only hear about some of them and what makes it into the jury, into the court system. So, and thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for trying your best to use the censored words. It's not my doing that I censor it, because trust me, when I first came onto YouTube, guns a-blazing, I did so many videos that got kicked back to me that I had to redo them, and ones that just didn't get into the algorithm because I came in like, I'm going to be a YouTuber that tells it how it like it is and use the words. Nope. YouTube said, no, you're not. And they stopped my production right away and even gave me big red warnings. Hey, you put that up again and your account's gone. So I appreciate you guys. Christina says, I wonder if Maddie was sold in the dark web of child trafficking underground. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that all of those pictures were put in the dark web somewhere. I don't know much about that, but now the more I hear about it, I imagine it's important because it shows motive also would mean more than one life. Exactly. And that's what we're talking about today. And that's what we've been talking about. Let's keep going so we can get to the audio, because those kids' voices are so sweet, you guys. Like, oh, my goodness, it's just awful that this predator and the other one we just saw before, a tallow, couldn't even think about preying on a little child that you're supposed to want to help and make them flourish.
Dave, thank you for that. Tell me, when we think about whether Madeline was pregnant, we still don't have an answer to that. I'm wondering, is this something that perhaps the state is withholding until trial? Do you think we'll get an answer to this at trial? I guess maybe the best way to ask it is, could she have been, and we just don't know yet?
Florida has very broad discovery rules. The defense can get just about everything from the prosecution. This is different than in federal court, where you have hide the ball. It makes it a lot harder to try cases in federal court if you're a defense lawyer. So if Madeline was pregnant at the time, I think we would know about it. The defense lawyers would know about it. It's hard to keep any secrets these days, especially with all the broad discovery rules that we have in Florida. So no, I think right now it's speculation. There's no evidence that she was, but it doesn't matter. either he did the sexual abuse or he didn't. And the pictures on his phone are just appalling and so shocking that that's going to be enough, in my view, to lead to a quick guilty verdict.
Dave, thank you. And last question for you, please, before we have to let you go. Do you think that this case will actually go to trial? Maybe I should say case.
All right. And what do you guys think? Now, right when we stop, there's 333. So let's take a moment to say a prayer for Madeline Soto that she does get complete and utter justice. And for me, that includes the arrest of Jen Soto, you guys. So hashtag arrest Jen Soto if you want to throw that in chat. And also justice for Naziah Harris. She doesn't even have a hashtag yet. Every time I type in the hashtag over and over and over, we make that happen. We make hashtags happen, you guys. So every time you type that and it goes into the internet, it helps one more and one more and one more and one more. So I want you to know, hashtag Naziah Harris, hashtag Madeline Soto, hashtag arrest Jen Soto. It helps and it spreads out into the interwebs and everywhere. National, international, and that's what we want, you guys. Janice says, my daughter is 4'9", her husband 4'8", my granddaughter is taller than them. Nothing wrong with being short. I'm 4'11", absolutely nothing wrong with being short over here on my side. And here. Thank you, Scary 420. You're not so scary, but thank you for gifting the 5 guilty of crime memberships. I know how much this crew means to you and to me, and you guys are always asking for memberships for those that can't afford them. There's lots of new content coming up that will be for members only because, well, I've got a lot coming out. All right. Thank you, Bree. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto, Bogart, and Kryptonite. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto. Every time you type that, it helps. Every time you type Naziah Harris or Madeline Soto or hashtag short people for arrest Jen Soto, yeah, it goes in there and it helps. I didn't realize that until I started streaming and YouTubing, how much it helps. So, all right, let's wrap this up with, we'll wrap this portion of it up anyway.
This is because we've got 2 of them. Or do you think there's any way there could be some kind of plea agreement for one or for both?
Well, I think there could be a plea agreement if he accepts life in prison for the sexual abuse, but I don't think that's going to happen. This guy seems to be a sociopath. I saw in a recent interview with his parents that they said that Stephen Stearns lied to them throughout his whole life. Yeah, this guy is a professional liar, alleged sex abuser, and alleged murderer, and he's going to go down. In a high-profile case like this, I think this is heading to trial, guilty verdict, and then the death penalty in the murder case. And I think he's going to be incarcerated until he gets the ultimate price.
Sharp analysis, as always, from you, Dave Ehrenberg. Thank you for making time for us this morning. And again, congratulations on your move into private practice. What a wonderful job you did serving the residents of Palm Beach.
And also, you guys go over to his YouTube channel. He's going to tell us real quick after this. Go over there and subscribe. I'm going to go subscribe to his new channel. I was already subscribed to his True Crime TMT channel because his opinion it means a lot, especially in the Florida area. All right, Kimberly Johnson, justice for Maddie. And pretty cute. Oh, haha, pretty cute. How much is the membership? I don't even know where to get one. Well, we'll drop a link in chat. The lowest tier is $2.99, and you get lots of members content and special shows and icons and things that we do. So, and you also get chances to win stuff, etc. It's a little members club, but I also put out a ton of free content for everybody. So if you don't have one, don't feel bad. It's all good. All right. I like his info. Arrest Jen Soto. Yeah, let's put his info real quick. I'm going to play it and then we'll listen to the interviews, which are the complete opposite almost of this entire video that I just played, where it talked about her probably not being pregnant. Now we're going to hear something different. Again, we just have to agree to disagree and come together as a community and wanting justice for Madeline.
County, I know you're missed. There, but fortunately for us, hopefully we get to see you a lot more now. So thank you for everything.
Thank you, Julie. If I could plug my YouTube channel, Court Authorities, where I talk about true crime cases.
You have a YouTube channel now? How did I not know this? Oh my gosh.
Well, it was True Crime MTN, but we broadened our scope to law, politics, and true crime. It's on Court Authorities on YouTube.
Court Authorities. Congratulations. I'm subscribing. So happy for you.
I love Julie, how excited she is. She gets so excited in this. It makes me smile because I mean, we're doing true crime. I'm doing true crime. I'd love to do the type of true crime that she does, by the way. Absolutely love to do that full time, right? And go out and do the stuff that she gets to do and be doing it on a regular basis. That'd be great. So Plunder True Crime, shout out to her. Go look for court authorities, Dave over there. And Marilyn says a teacher was arrested for enticing kids to do. He worked at Maddie's old middle school. Now, Marilyn Reese, let me tell you, if you go back to the beginning and watch it, we did a breaking news. It was Maddie's teacher. It was her music teacher that was doing that. And if you go back to the very beginning, we covered that, as well as we're going to continue to cover it so we can put that guy on blast and so he doesn't get a desk job anywhere near children. All right. All right. Thank you. Yeah, she is amazing. I love her coverage. I love that she's perky and smiles and happy, even though we're talking about rough topics. That's okay. You can go back and watch it. Now, Plunder got us the audio, and everybody's talking about the audio today, right?
If she was feeling ill or sick or anything like that?
No, but
hold on. Why
did Maddie talk to you about if she was feeling ill or sick or anything like that?
No, but
so cute, these little kids. Okay, now these little girls, if you haven't listened to this yet, they're Maddie's friends talking about Maddie and how she was, how she dressed, what her demeanor was, if she had a boyfriend, what her boyfriend was like. Did they talk about it? How was the relationship? They even call Stephen Stearns her stepdad, which means that she walked around when she was on the phone. Oh, I got a call from my stepdad or whatever. Or who are you talking to on the phone? Why are you on FaceTime? You know how friends are, right? Oh, I'm talking to my stepdad. Oh, okay. So he had that stepdad title, which is that's like a badge of honor, you guys. That's a badge of honor to be a step parent. I don't even call myself a stepmom to my son Christian because I raised him for the last 20 years, but I am technically his stepmom, and you should get a badge for being a step parent. But instead, Stephen Stearns took advantage of Madeline Soto. And so listen to these kids. It's so I'm going to look for that link, scary 420. It's Court Authority, but we'll look for it. We'll drop it. All right, now we're listening to the kids. Listen up. They talk a lot about the pregnancy thing now, which is interesting because it's very targeted about that. It's very targeted.
I did notice that she was
Plunder, true crime audio.
This is from Plunder.
Okay, hello there. I wanted to talk to you about these two interviews I didn't expect to get today. They are two interviews from March 12th, 2024, with two of Madeline Soto's little friends at Hunters Creek Middle School. We know there's a whole bunch of movement going on in the case of Stephen Stearns, and we know some minors are having their depositions taken, these video depositions. Well, I was on the hunt for an interview with one of Stephen Stearns' friends, a friend who's as close as a brother, Chase Leonard. So I was FOIAing and sending in public records requests for Chase Leonard's interview from all these Florida entities. Well, they were getting back to me saying they don't have them, at least two so far. But one of them ended up giving me all the other stuff. They're saying, okay, here you have everything already. And I'm going through the list and I see these two interviews with Maddie's friends. And I'm thinking, I don't think I've heard this before. It's been nearly 1 year since Madeline Soto went missing, February 26, 2024. And unfortunately, she was found March 1st. Since then, her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, has been arrested. He's still sitting in jail and he's trying to escape the worst penalty that Florida wants to give him. Whole bunch of documents going in. But what these children have to say about Maddie, I've never heard it before. Forgive me if you have. I searched and searched and searched and don't think these videos have.
Now, shout out to you, Paula. This is not a long video, so I could have just skipped to the audio. This is on 312, and we're not going to talk about who were just her friends, right? We don't want to put them out there, but Paula, we appreciate you, everything you do, and you put out there at the time, and all of us get so much information. Now, you say Chase is his brother. We need to look into that because Paula's looking into that. And when Paula looks into it, she's going to find it. So many times when Paula comes out with something like this, all of a sudden it hits the breaking news. Now, don't think that's coincidental that Paula came out with this video of the kids talking about Maddie. And then just this morning, Court TV came out with this segment on 1 week from the trial, and they played the child's partial interview. So just know that YouTube plays a huge role in the true crime and news. Who would have thought, right? I never imagined that. All right, let's listen up.
Been published yet, or the audio, right? You might know who I mean, but I believe I've already heard her interview. Now, on my birthday, actually, April 22nd, 2025, SE and EG and LL all have their video depositions. Well, these are none of these children you're going to hear coming up. You're going to hear from a girl, I will call her IS, and then the next girl you'll hear, I will call her SS. So I was searching for Chase Leonard's interview. I'm going to put my thoughts about Chase Leonard's interviews in a different video, because that's what I plan to film today. He's interviewed with a couple of YouTubers. Stephen Stearns' mom has mentioned Chase. There's a lot. So I was going down that rabbit hole because I'm like, what are we missing? There's a lot of interviews we're missing. And I couldn't find Chase's yet. I don't know if authorities ever even interviewed him, which would be kind of strange to me, maybe not. But in lieu of Chase, we got these two girls' interviews, and it kind of shocked me. Let's talk about them in depth. Let's talk about why Maddie's friend may have said she was wearing these longer clothes, longer hoodies, what it could have meant the week before her disappearance. And let's talk about the other friend's interview and what Maddie was talking about with her that Friday before she disappeared. Okay, so this first one, it's March 12th. You can tell they're at the school. One is just right back to back against the other. So I'm calling her IS.
All right, real quick. So the date is March 12th, 2000.
Oh my God, that little angel's so cute. I want to pinch her little cheeks. Every time I see baby pictures of not just Maddie, but we love Maddie, of course. But I'm like, I wish we would have just had one more. Just one more. But I'm 45 already, and I don't even think I can chase after one more. I'm gonna drop that link in chat. All right. Control. Let me drop it for you guys. I don't know what happened, but it's easy. YouTube.com/court authorities. That's why. Dave Ehrenberg is his name. So go search up Dave Ehrenberg and check out Court Authorities. His information is priceless. He's one of those guys that you can go to and it's solid reporting. And he's not a reporter, right? He's a former prosecutor. Okay, yeah, she's so beautiful. I don't know how Jen Soto could even think about letting somebody harm that little girl ever. And I know why Tyler Wallace and Tatiana are so devastated. No, I could, but there you go. Kimberly has the better idea. My son is 25 years old with a live-in girlfriend now, just got a new job. So I think I'll have grandkids before I have any more kids. All right. So that's what I'm going to wait for. Kylie, trust me, Jason, I'm having a 3-year-old at 37. It's hard. I had Reese at 35. We had her, and I'm 45 now, and it's a pain. Whew. Never like I imagined. The first child, piece of cake. I was 25, 26 when I got him. Tori had him at 20. Much different 10 years later, man. 15. They're 15 years apart. Anyway, my kids are 15 years apart, and it's not easy. So I'll wait for grandkids. Now let's listen to Madeline Soto's little friend. So beautiful.
24. The time is 12:27 p.m. Myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood. We are at Hunters Creek Middle School on reference case number 24001896. So, real quick, what is your first name?
Plunder. True Crime Audio.
Like the country?
Plunder. True Crime Audio.
And what's your last?
We don't want to know their names at all. So thank you for redacting that, Paula.
What's your birthday?
10.
Your address?
That's a good question.
Okay. Do you have a phone number?
No.
You don't have a phone. Okay.
I don't have a phone, but I have a Snapchat. That's it.
Okay. Do you live with both mom and dad?
Mm-hmm.
What's your mom's name?
Janelle Wright. I live with my stepdad and my mom.
All right. What's your mom's last name?
Right.
WRIGHT?
Yeah.
Do you know her phone number?
Yes.
Okay.
That's so cute. I love it.
What grade are you in?
7th.
7th. Okay. So in 7th grade, I'm pretty sure you know the difference between truth and a lie. Okay, so I don't have to question on that stuff. So during our conversation today, do you swear to tell me the truth and nothing but the truth? Okay, perfect.
I'm a really bad liar.
Yeah, that's good. You never want to become a good one. So, okay.
She does tell the officer she doesn't have a phone number, but the little girl has Snapchat somehow. The main thing that strikes me is this girl, she's so affable and lovable, and then you can hear the next girl is more shy, but it really just lets you know how young these girls are. And it struck me of, oh my goodness, what was Madeline putting up with? All these adult issues foisted upon her in a horrible way, and she was just a young girl. This 7th grader starts out by saying she's a really bad liar because the cop is saying, he has to ask them, their children, do you know right from wrong? Do you know the meaning of it all? And she's like, yes, and I'm a really bad liar anyway. And the cop is saying, well, you don't ever want to be a good liar.
So we are here to talk about Miss Maddie. Okay. And
you want the other one later?
Yeah, she can.
Right, guys, buckle in. We're gonna listen to this audio. I'm gonna not make too many stops. I just want to listen to it with you and a few times interject, especially when they start talking about Maddie's boyfriend and whatnot. But man, again, you can go over to Plunder if you just want to listen to it without I'm sure not only that, without the commentary. She probably has it on her Patreon for like just the audio. She usually does that. So thank you again, Plunder True Crime, March 12th, 2024. Madeline's friend IS. This is the first time we've ever heard this. It just came out yesterday.
So myself and Detective Smallwood here, we are the lead investigators on her case. Okay. So what we're trying to do is talk to as many people as possible to find out what Maddie was all about, what she liked, what she disliked, and stuff like that. Okay. From what we understand, we think, yeah. From what we understand is that was Maddie's best friend. Is that true? Okay. Now, did you have any classes with Maddie?
No, but I would see her like when we were transitioning classes. I see her at Recharge, hang out with her then.
Okay. What kind of friends do you think you were with her? Like good friends?
Really good friends. I loved her a lot.
Okay. Did you ever communicate with her over the phone or because you said you don't have a phone, just Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
Would you communicate with her via Snapchat?
No, actually, I have a weird story about that.
Okay, what's your story?
But she's so cute. She says she was really good friends with Madeline. She loved her a lot. Now, this particular girl lives with her mom and stepdad. She knows the truth versus lies. At this point, we hear like a teacher or someone counselor open the door, it's creaking, and she's like, do you want the other one later? Obviously, the other girl is waiting in the wings. And so this girl who's there being interviewed, you can hear her greet her friend like, hi, SS. It's cute. And the cop says, yeah, she can sit out there. So
it is very cute. We get more information about Maddie, I think, and like her demeanor and the way she talks and how she is and her personality than anything. They didn't know much about any of the stuff. I think she says that Maddie wasn't allowed to spend the night anywhere or something like that, which is interesting because it was probably Stephen Stearns that didn't want her spending the night anywhere because he wanted her with him, which is pure, just evil. Right. And look at them. I can't even stand those people right there. He's trying to play off like what are they saying? What's showing up on your phone? Well, he knew damn well. Her too. The evil potato.
So they both point to this other SE girl who is Maddie's best friend, but this girl, IS, was also really good friends with Maddie. She starts out with a weird story about Snapchat.
So basically, I added her. I found her account and know for a fact it was her account. But I I wasn't expecting to be added back. It was just like a thoughtful thing to do. And I woke up yesterday morning and she had added me back.
Audio.
Okay.
And I thought that was weird because I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's physically no way.
Right.
Unless someone has her account, but like, why would they add me? They don't know if I'm a stranger or not. That's weird.
That is true.
So I just want to say that.
Okay. So
she said, okay, I just have Snapchat, but she says, I found Maddie's account and she had added her at some point. I don't know when she added Maddie, as a friend. She said, I know for a fact that it was her account. So somehow she knew it really was Maddie's account. And she goes, I woke up yesterday morning and Maddie had added her back. And she goes, that's weird. Whoever this person is basically that added me back, I don't know. They don't know if I'm a stranger or not, but she added me back and she was like, there's no way, physically no way. Because mind you, this is March 12th. So on March 11th, who was on Maddie's Snapchat adding back people who had added Maddie? Well, the cops at that point had possession of Maddie's phone. So it could have just been
That's what I was gonna say. I'm thinking, wait, who would it know? Because it was already March 11th, March 12th. So I wonder if they were just going through and checking all the things. And right when you don't know that stuff, you're trying to figure out who's who. That's interesting. Now, Voxy says, I think, yeah, you absolutely. The reason I stopped that is because we were having that conversation at work today. You got it, and not even just about sex stuff. Anything that's going through your children's mind about anything they see on TV, anything, whatever, hard conversations, shitty conversations, stuff you don't want to talk about, even though it makes you uncomfortable. Talk to your kids about it. Just talk to your kids about it. Just even if you don't like it, don't project that you don't like it. Don't make them feel weird. Don't make them feel like you feel that way about it, even if you do, because we're in different generations than they are. We're going to feel a certain way than they do. Make them feel comfortable, make them feel okay so they can feel their way out through whatever it is and then be open with you so they don't have to go to these predators out there that are like, hey, I got you. I know your mom's mad at you about this, but let me tell you, it's okay. You're okay to do that. That's what happens when you don't and when you're not open with your children. So be careful of that. Important email sent. Please look hashtag receipts. Thank you, Carrie. I will look right now. I appreciate you, girl. All right, let me play that while I check my emails.
An investigative technique. If people were adding Maddie, perhaps that's something they do. Maybe, if she really did add the correct Snapchat account and someone added her back, who was doing that on Maddie's phone? I can only assume the authorities, but he didn't confirm or deny that.
Maddie had a birthday party a couple weekends. Did you go to that party?
No, it was a family party.
Okay. Do you know if any of her friends went to that party? Because I think some of her friends were invited.
They were?
I think so.
I don't know. It might have been like family friends maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think a lot of her friends were invited unless they were close to in her actual friend group area.
Mm-hmm. Who was her friend? What's her close friend group?
I know I forgot her last name, but...
Does she go to school here?
Mm-hmm.
What grade is she in?
All right, y'all. That's awesome. So if you guys want to stick around with me after this, Carrie, we will play that. Carrie's right. Carrie's my mod. She's not a mod, but she's my researcher that helps me out with things behind the scenes. But I keep her all to myself. So thank you, Carrie. I'm going to play that after. It is Stefan's older brother from the Navy. Stefan's brother is 11 years older. And if you guys want to stick around after that, what Paula was just talking about, we can listen to that. We can listen to his older brother. I have never heard anything from Stefan's older brother at all, ever. And right back at you. Thank you. I can't stand Jen Soto's face, those big ugly glasses and those big teeth. I'm glad we don't see her gums right now. But yeah, I didn't know I've heard about his older brother, and I heard that he changed the spelling of his last name. So I got that now, and we'll hit the play button after that. Thank you. All right, those kids express themselves very well, very educated. My daughter talks like that too, Mr. Bot. My daughter is 10 in 4th grade, and she talks very well, very, very well. Huge vocabulary.
7th, and I did my first period with her. What did I think about that? Savannah.
Plunder. True crime audio.
And those are her close friends?
Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that I know of. The other ones I don't really talk to, so I don't really know.
Mm-hmm. Would you consider these 3 her best friends?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. How often would you talk to Maddie?
Almost every day.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about her.
It was more funny because we were both very, very chaotic people, as personality-wise, so we would mix it just be pure chaos, and it was always really fun with her.
Mm-hmm.
It was she would always make jokes, and it would be really funny to laugh at.
Right.
I remember on her birthday, the the dean announced her. She was like, "Happy birthday, Maddie!" And then everybody was like, "Oh my god, happy birthday!" And I'm gonna go hug her. I said like, "Happy birthday!" And the first thing she did, everybody hugged her. She's like, "Oh my god, who is this?" And I say that to her. She had like this funny way of talking. I remember a lot of the time that I was the one that, you know, when middle school girls were really crushes, like they're like, "Don't take my crush on me." I was always the one for that because I had a class with them, and apparently we're friends. I did not know that before she said that, but anyway, yeah, there was funny moments that she was.
Oh, he just changed his last name. That's interesting, Tammy Gill, because Stephen Stern's brother doesn't want to be associated with him. So instead of Stearns, he spells it Stearns, Stearns. So it's not like a huge difference, but it's a difference, right? So thank you for clarifying that. I didn't realize, I've never been in the military. I can't follow directions like that, y'all. And welcome everybody. And thank you again, Carrie. I appreciate that. I didn't even realize that audio existed. There's so many different audios and different things. Sometimes I have to ask the girls, did we have that audio? Do we even? And they're like, yeah, Jay, you already listened to. Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you. Frank Reeve. Oh, I forgot to say hi, Jay and Patty Mason. Thank you for lurking, Frank. And I'm sure you already hit the like button. All right, let's listen up here. These little girls, they say a lot without saying a lot.
Had where she had a blanket, she put it over her backpack, and then she bounced around the backpack, and her backpack was low. And then this guy called her a turtle when it was supposed to be like making fun of like the plastic surgery on the butt. But like, she was just a very funny person. Like, she never showed any signs of anything.
Okay.
So no one really expected it. She was very funny. She was very genuine. She was a person that if you were sad or impressed, or I was really sad one day, and she was like, as soon as I saw her, she like changed the conversation from me being depressed to me like really happy about myself. And then
That's good.
if you're feeling insecure about yourself, she'd like be like, "Why are you insecure? Like, you're beautiful." And like compliment you over and over again. It's really nice.
Did she ever talk about having any boyfriends or anything like that?
She had a crush.
Okay.
Oh no, she did date a dude, but it wasn't last. Like, I don't even, like, he's weird. I don't know.
So she dated a dude that was weird, which is really interesting. You got to love the way these kids talk, because I hear that already, you know, at the school. Yeah, I had an ex this, and like, dude, you guys are like 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever. You dated a dude last year, really? So they're talking about this stuff. They're saying that it's a weird dude. I feel bad for the friends too. I do. But the information they're giving is it tells a lot about Maddie. She literally just said that Maddie didn't show signs of anything. So I'm wondering if, I mean, everybody knew that she had ADHD, and they kind of talked about autism, right? She was on the spectrum, but she got retested. It sounds like her friend was saying, no, I didn't see any signs of anything. All she does is lifts us up, and she tells us how great we are, and she gives us compliments. So interesting. All right.
Talks about him.
When was this?
It was like last year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who she's dated since then. But I'm not huge with the relationship. But I know she had a crush on the dude. So there's that. That's all I know about that situation.
Gotcha. You don't happen to know the phone numbers to any of these young ladies, do you?
No, I do not. I mean, I have them on my watch when my mom puts them on there. But I don't really have their phone numbers at home.
Okay.
Now, the investigator does verify that this girl did not go to Maddie's birthday party. And she sounds so cute. She goes, I don't think a lot of her friends were invited. And the investigator says some of her friends were there. And she's like, wait, what? You know, she sounds surprised, as if she wasn't invited. I don't know if she was or not. And they go over a few of Maddie's best friends' names. I will probably just mute those out for YouTube. And she does confirm, yeah, those are Maddie's 3 best friends. But this girl, IS, talked to Maddie almost every day. And she's just, again, so sweet. She says, we were both very chaotic people in terms of like personalities, pure chaos. The dean had recently announced Maddie's birthday, so it must have been just that prior Thursday. And everybody was hugging Maddie, and Maddie was saying something cute like, oh my God, who is this? She had like this funny way of talking. That's the way IS described Maddie. So she talks about Maddie's crush. In fact, both girls are going to mention Maddie's crush.
All right, so there we come back again with the jealousy thing, right? There we go again. Jealousy. Now, jealousy can pertain to anything. We don't exactly know either. Jen, could be jealous of Maddie and Stefan. Stefan could be jealous of Maddie and another boyfriend. Crush on, I say, crush on, but you're too young to date. And then Jen comes in with my biggest fear is the Woody Allen situation and Maddie. So when I say jealousy, it could be the crush on part. She said no, because as it leads into this, they start talking about Maddie even more, having another new boyfriend since then and getting rid of the weird dude. So that just says a lot. And that could have been partial of the motive, some of the motive, or none of the motive. But jealousy, in my opinion, we know Jen Soto was probably jealous if she said her biggest fear was the Woody Allen situation. And we know that Stefan was jealous when he talked about, I told her crush on, but you're not going to date because you're too young. But we heard how he said it, right? Okay.
Crush. And this girl is going to say, I didn't know that. She's talking about crushes and funny moments. Both of the girls their voices are a little bit softer. So I boosted it all the way up as I could. Especially the second girl is really, really soft. And as usual, the recording device is away from her. But she kind of talked about Maddie wore her backpack down low. She put a blanket over her backpack and some guy called Maddie a turtle. But she overall was saying, Maddie never really showed any signs of whatever was happening. So no one expected it. That's what this girl says. She talks about what a kind heart Maddie was, how concerned she was for others. So this girl here said she was really sad one day and Maddie made her feel happier. And, if someone was feeling down on themselves or depressed, and Maddie would just say, she would compliment you over and over again, like, oh, why are you feeling so bad? You're great. Now, this girl says, I believe she says she did date a dude. It's kind of hard to hear. At first I was like, is she saying she didn't date a dude? It sounds like she said she did date a dude maybe the previous year. She talked about
Yeah, she said she did date a dude. She said she did date a dude, but she was weird. He was weird. We didn't know much about him. He was weird. So then Paula thinks she heard her mentioning something about the dude that was at school. I didn't quite hear that. So I assumed the weird dude was her talking about Stefan, and when everyone else was talking about their crushes or their boyfriends or what have you, she was using Stefan as that. Okay. Hello, everyone. We got a 1. What does a 1 mean? All right, let's keep going. I hope you guys can hear me.
Weird guy in the previous year, and there's that. There was a crush on a dude. So she had a crush. She did date a dude, like he's weird. No one talks about him. So of course the investigators dig into that a little bit more, but I think she's just talking about one of their classmates. She said, I don't know who she's dated since then. I know she had a crush on a dude. So the investigators asking IS about phone numbers, and she says she does have some phone numbers when her mom puts them on her watch. She does talk about an instance. I don't know if it was pretty recent to this interview prior to Maddie's disappearance, but Maddie was crying in the bathroom of a teacher.
All right, so Maddie hasn't talked to you about something that may be going on in her life recently or anything like that?
There was this time where she was crying in the bathroom of her teacher, but now I think about it, I don't know if it was really about the teacher or the teacher just sat on top of it, like a cherry on top. But I remember I walked out of my classroom, like our classrooms were like this. So when I walked out, I could see her classroom. And her classroom, she was like right there getting yelled at by the teacher for really no reason. And she was on the verge of tears, and she went to the bathroom, and I came out to like wash my hands, and she came in like really bawling her eyes off, like, are you okay? She said, no, like school's like really stressing me out and stuff. And I told her like, hey, let me try like staying home. And she
And now we're going to get into the part where people say, oh, well, maybe she was in the bathroom crying because she found out she was pregnant. And then we're going to start talking about this more on Paula's channel. And I mean, the police really are trying to find that out. They are, which is interesting because they already had Maddie by then. She'd already been, she already had an autopsy. She was already cremated, right? So I don't know, but the conversation's going there. That's where they're going right now.
She said, my mom doesn't want me to stay home. She never lets me stay home. And I said, oh, like, at least we'll like do what normal children do, pretend to be sick or something. And she was like, oh, yeah. And then I didn't sleep for like a week after that. So.
Gotcha.
She said there was this time she was crying and she was getting yelled at by the teacher, is what she sounds like she's saying. Maddie was bawling her eyes out. But when I guess, inquired, tried to ask Maddie what was going on, Maddie would just say, school is stressing me out. Now, we know a lot more was stressing Maddie out, but that was probably an easy go-to just say, school's stressing me out, without spilling the beans about what she was really suffering. Maddie.
So the only two reasons why I don't think that she was pregnant at all and he made her miscarry, the Naziah Harris thing, yeah, that's what I think in the Naziah Harris case, but I don't think that in this case. Number one, there's been zero charges or any implication in writing from anyone anywhere that there was a pregnancy. Okay, no charges, no nothing. And then number two, because I heard from the family that it was a big fat no. And they're the only ones that are going to have access to any kind of paperwork, autopsies, toxicology, anything that has to do with that will never come out in full pieces unless it's like way down the line they have access. So until we see it, I'm going to say no. Allegedly no, in my opinion. All right, let's keep going.
He told this friend, my mom doesn't want me to stay home. She doesn't let me stay home. So her friend said, well, just do what normal children do. Pretend to be sick or something. And that's when IS says, I didn't see her for like a week after that. So these girls talked every day. And IS is, trying to comfort her friend in the way a child can comfort another friend. Jennifer.
Absolutely, the autopsy would have been the first thing that showed that Madeline Soto was pregnant. All right. And then after that, it would have gotten to the family. They get those. They were allowed to have those things. Dad, Tyler Wallace, and of course, whatever Tyler Wallace has, Tatiana has, and Jen Despicable Soto also gets that. That's why they had the say-so to cremate Maddie and split the ashes. So abso-freaking-lutely, it would have already been documented. Now, I'm not saying it would have been put out there, but I'm just going to go with what the family says and what I'm going by logic right now, logic and reason. And what's up, Chief Raka's True Crime Truth? This is our man, Chief. Everybody, he's the boyfriend of Guilty of Crime. Welcome, sisterhood. All right, let's keep going.
Soto allegedly didn't want Maddie staying home from school, and Maddie's all, stressed out. So much going on with this little girl.
No, they would have charged him with it already. That he would have gotten some kind of charge somewhere, unless they're holding it back and unless they told the family, hey, we're holding this back. We're not saying anything. We're not even going to charge him, and you guys be quiet. That's the only possible way. But we talked about that whole thing earlier in the video with Court TV and Dave Ehrenberg, that was a former prosecutor. He said it would have been in the charges by now. Trials coming, pre-trials coming next week. So he suspects also that it's a big fat no.
And her mom doesn't let her stay home. So her friend says, look, just pretend to be sick. So obviously Maddie must have taken her advice, and she didn't see her for a week after that. Now, some other friend, I remember a young friend, and I want to look back at all the interviews of Maddie's friends that I've done and link to them below. I want to try and keep things kind of straight because I know I have not heard these before. So with the girl talking about sickness and all that, the officer starts to probe. He asked, the week leading up to everything, did Maddie talk to you about feeling ill or sick? I think he's going somewhere with this. Now, the friend immediately says she doesn't think, I guess, Maddie talked to her about being sick or something, but she said, I did notice that she was wearing more baggy clothes than usual. But this girl says, I didn't think anything of it. I have no idea why. Well, she loves hoodies. A lot of us love hoodies. But she said Maddie was wearing more longer hoodies. And she immediately goes into talk about Maddie's.
And again, Maddie was starting to, besides the whole fact, let's just say she is or she's not. We don't exactly know. But beside that fact, she had a really big growing spurt. You could see it in the pictures between the year before and the year right when she passed away, with the pictures next to Jen Soto. She really was starting to sprout out and become, she was going to be a teenager. She was 13. And a lot of kids at that age in junior high like wearing baggy stuff because they're starting to get a little bit more on their chest area, and they're starting to get a little bit here and a little, and they feel more comfortable baggy. So just because she's wearing baggy clothes is not an indication. Now, when you look at Nazia's pictures, it's very clear how she went from being skinny little girl to like really chunky and filled out. It's super, super apparent. But I can't say in those pictures that I see that. I just don't see that. Again, when I see it on paper and it comes out, then I'll say, okay, all right, I was wrong.
Obvious change in type of clothing. I mean, many of us women, we know we've been through things. If there's a pregnancy, you're trying to hide, the first thing you might try and do, especially as a young person, is start wearing, clothes that are just baggier, that women know, you can hide longer if you're gaining weight or you're pregnant, and then you can get away with baggier clothes.
Did leading up into
or you're just growing up
Monday before, when all this happened.
Oh, that was Monday before last Monday.
Right. Okay. So leading up to that, did Maddie talk to you about if she was feeling ill or sick or anything like that?
No, but I did notice that she was wearing more baggy
True
clothes.
crime
Like,
audio.
I don't know if this is weird or anything. I didn't notice that. I'm a huge style person. But usually she'd wear hoodies that were baggy, not really that baggy, and then I noticed she started wearing more baggy clothes and more longer hoodies.
Gotcha. Any idea why?
I didn't think any of it. I was like, well, she loves hoodies, so she's probably just wearing oversized hoodies. Yeah. I remember my friends did tell me, like, she did talk about her friend, like her stepdad, but it was only like good things. It was never, oh, I don't want to go home or anything, or like anything like that. It was always compliments for her stepdad. And as someone with a stepdad, I never thought anything of it. So.
Again, they never thought anything of it because she called him her stepdad. Everybody called him her stepdad. They called him the stepdad in the news. I still see true crime channels that did a documentary style about Madeline Soto that call Stephen Stearns her stepdad. And we all know that he was not her stepdad. There was nothing about him that was a stepdad at all. So that gave him the right to put her to bed, give her too many sleeping pills, and all of the other things that he did to her, with her.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Dan. Yeah. All right, Miss. I love that name, by the way. Thank you so much for your time. And I guess they can let you go back to class or whatever.
I was at London. If you were ready, so good.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Here you go. We're going to be 12:36 p.m.
Now, this girl didn't directly bring up the pregnancy word, and the investigator didn't say it either, but I feel like I know where he was going when he's asking that.
No.
And it's very astute of this young friend to notice Maddie's been wearing baggier clothes. But she didn't know why. She goes right from...
Now, listen to this. I have to tell you something kind of funny. That's a funny comment right there. Were they married? I'm confused. People are dumb. He was not even close to a step parent. When you guys know what a step parent is, when they asked the question, how many times did Stefan ever take Maddie to school? None. That was the first time he had ever taken her to school. Did he ever pick her up? Nope. Did he take her to the doctors? No. Did he go take her school shopping? No. Well, what did he do? Nothing. They weren't even together at that time. They were on again, off again, on again, off again. And he only slept with Jen Soto, in my opinion, to get to Maddie and to have access. So what part of him being a stepdad do you guys see there in any of the questions that anybody talks about anything in this whole case? None. What did he do that was of a step parent? Because he was in and out of her life and because he was allowed to sleep in bed with her? I just don't understand. He was a living on again, off again boyfriend that didn't even want Jen Soto until she said, hey, dude, hey, we've been together. We've been hanging out for, 18 months or so. You want to fool around? And sure. He literally said, sure. What a great stepdad of the year.
Talk of longer hoodies, baggier clothes, right into talking about Stephen Stearns. The little girl says she did talk about her stepdad, but it was always good things. It was always compliments for her stepdad. Never thought anything of it. So that was March 12th. This interview began around 12:27 p.m. And then technically by 12:39, even earlier than 12:39, the interview is over. Now, they have a description of it slightly in one of these documents. It talks about March 12th, Detective Smallwood and I, it must be Mark Morris, I assume, responded to Hunters Creek Middle School to interview classmates of Madeline. This is when the next interview actually starts. So that's how it shows you how quickly, as soon as the one is over, just a few minutes later at 12:29 is when the next interview starts. So this girl, we're calling her SS.
The time is 12:39 p.m. It is March 12th, 2024. The time is 12:39 p.m., which I just said. We are at Hunters Creek Middle School. It's myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood, and this is in reference to case number 24001896. So your first name again is?
Audio.
How you spell that?
And off again. On again, off again.
Okay, and what's your last name? And what's your birthday?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a phone number? And what is your address? Okay. What grade are you in? Eighth. All right. So you being in eighth grade, I don't think I have to question you to see if you know what the difference is between a truth and a lie. Do you know the difference between a truth and a lie?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I would say this computer is orange, would that be true or a lie?
It's a lie.
Okay. If I said this little figurine right here is a lion, is that truth or lie?
True.
Okay, perfect. All right. So during our conversation, do you swear to tell me the truth and nothing but the truth to the best of your knowledge? Hope you got?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So like I said, we are here to talk about Maddie. Okay.
Right.
Did you have any classes with her?
No, but I had band, and when I walked to band, I had chorus and she had chorus, and we like passed by each other.
Okay. How would you describe your friendship with Maddie?
Not that close, but like I was friends with a lot of people in her friend group.
Mm-hmm.
So when we heard about the news, it's like I went to comfort her friends.
Plunder. True crime audio.
Dying. That's crazy, but like yeah.
Who would you consider Maddie's best friends here?
And she gives the other little girl's name.
Okay. Do you happen to have phone numbers for?
Did you do my phone?
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and get a membership or gift a membership if you can. I noticed that the content has been getting more and more, and I knew that was going to happen as the trial approached. I mean, even with the Neziah case, lately I've been streaming for 2.5, 3 hours. There's just so much content. I can't help it. I mean, I came on earlier today for the Colin case, and then I came on earlier about the the Stephen Stearns thing that we talked about earlier and trial. But anyway, if you can do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not, get your membership, super chat, super sticker, and then I got all the things below. Thank you. I'm gonna give some memberships right now. I'm gonna give 5 memberships, so talk and chat and stick around because we've got more coming. And yes, my wife went and picked up my daughter already, so we're good. All right. Although I could be eating or laying down or taking a nap or anything else, but I do want to talk about this, and the content just keeps coming.
It's off. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know you're not supposed to have phones in school, right, nowadays?
Yeah.
How's your day going so far?
Normal day. Just waiting for the spring break to come.
Next week, right?
Yeah.
Do you know hangs out with that same friend group?
I think I heard her name, but I don't have her number.
You know her last name or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
So Sage
They're so cute.
and so
Got it. All right, but you said you're not very close with, or you weren't very close with Maddie?
no,
No.
but I knew about her.
Did you ever talk to her like on a daily basis, or did you only talk to her every once in a while?
Once in a while, I actually like had a good conversation with her the last day she came to school on Friday.
What was that conversation about?
It was about a boy that she really liked.
Who was that?
I don't know his last name.
What did she say about that?
That we were at the student staff game, and for most of the time she was just looking for him, like where she at, and she just really wanted to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else? Did you guys talk about anything else?
No. She was like really happy, like you wouldn't know that was happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like she like it never showed.
Gotcha. All right.
By the way, this is actually helping my mental health right now and get through these crazy times with all the construction and paperwork and insurance companies and back and forth. So thank you guys for being here. I could be anywhere else, but I like to be here. I love to be here with you. And I mean, it gives me my purpose to be helping and giving a voice to these children and to let you guys know about what's happening out there and for you to be part of it. So thank you. I hope you won a membership. If you wanted one, I hope you got one. All right, let's go.
All right. Who would you say, other than you said are her close friends?
Yeah.
Any idea? Somebody said maybe on vacation or something. Do you know? Are you friends with them?
I have her number and I got more friends with her since Madeline's death, like to comfort her. Then we actually have like a lot of other likes, just became friends.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Do you know? Is there anything you can tell me about Maddie that maybe somebody else doesn't know?
I got a lot of information from age, so that's probably why.
What kind of information did you get from
That? I'm sorry, I don't remember a lot, but like.
That's okay.
At her birthday party, her mom didn't come, and it was like, I believe her dad was there. I don't know, but like she was really like mad and like.
Okay, I have to stop on that part because it's very interesting, and I think that she actually thought that we all thought that too, right? Again, it's not her dad. That little girl has like third party now. We went from stepdad to dad, and we speculated for a good couple of months that Stefan was at the party. Yeah, that didn't exist. That didn't happen, Carrie, at all. There's no hold up, that didn't exist. And even Court TV thought so. We thought so for a minute with the balloon, and we thought we saw a bearded man that was Stefan Stearns. First of all, she wasn't the dad, and second of all, not a stepdad, and third of all, was never at the party. So anyway, just to clear that up, that's what she was talking about. And thank you, more 1967, for gifting the 5 guilty of crime memberships. I hope we just gifted 10 memberships back to back, 15, 16. We gifted 16 memberships this episode. So I hope that you guys get one, whoever wants one. All right, let's keep going so we can get through.
She wanted her mom there, and that's like.
Did you say who else was at her birthday party?
I don't know who was at the birthday party, but I know she was there. Yes,
okay.
And that was like the last day that she saw her as well.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. I guess they can let you go back to class. The time is 12:45 p.m.
And she's talking about not having any classes with Maddie and would see her in passing at school. But she was friends with some of Madeline's friends group, and that's how they knew her. What's interesting about this very short interview is that SS talked about the last time she spoke with Maddie.
That was actually a good call too. I heard that and I missed it, and then I reheard it. She did talk about her mom and being mad that she didn't go. We've heard that before, but we just heard that again. And remember, she was mad at Jen for also not giving her the cash that she wanted. So crazy, right? She was mad. They had a little beef going on. I wonder how Jen feels now. Jen is just a Luke liar. All right.
Maddie was that Friday, February 23rd. They were talking about a boy that Madeline liked. His name starts with an M. This SS girl is going to say she got a lot of information from Maddie's closer friend, SE, Maddie's best friend. So what they've done here, I see, they've kind of conflated the description of these two girls in the same paragraph in a document. They talk about IS stating she was typically a happy person. Even if these little nuggets of information that everybody is giving might not seem like much on the surface, but now it's a year later and we put it all together in one big puzzle, and it paints a bigger picture of what was going on. So the SS interview, March 12th, 2024, a few minutes later, she's an 8th grader. She's very, very quiet, and she talks about, she did not have any classes with Maddie, but she had band and Maddie had chorus, so they would walk past each other. So again, she wasn't that close with Maddie, but she was friends with people in her friend group. And when she heard the news about what happened to Maddie, she reached out and she's comforting Maddie's friends. She talks about Maddie's best friend. She talks about it being, spring break the following
Yeah, so she just doesn't. She's like an outside friend of a friend. And thank you, Chatterbox talks a lot for that. 5 memberships. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. At least you give. Yeah, what she didn't go to her party. She scheduled it and wasn't even available, right? And then didn't even give her anything that she wanted. Welcome, Jazzy's mom. Maddie was a very smart girl. Can't take that away. All right, let's see what we're gonna be wrapping this one up soon, and then I'll put on the. I've never even heard Stefan's older brother, but I see it here when Chris and Deborah Stearns in their police interview, and then his older brother. Interesting. Did you guys? If you guys heard that, let me know in chat.
Following week. And it just gives you like, first of all, to hear these little girls' voices so young, it really reminds you of how young Maddie was. She had just turned 13. And to be so put upon in the worst way. You know, Maddie should have been going off for spring break the following week. She should have still been alive with all her friends. She should have been happy. This girl is basically just giving the cops information about different friends' phone numbers. But she talks about the last conversation she had with Maddie. And it was about a boy Maddie really liked. She said, we were at the student staff game, and there was this boy, Maddie was really looking for him. And this girl also says, Maddie was like really happy. You wouldn't know all that was happening behind the scenes.
See, that's what got me right there. We've been speculating. I've been speculating, and in my head, like she had a crush. What was the crush? Who was the crush? Did that even exist? Was the crush she was talking about Stefan Stearns just to hide it? But now, when we're listening to the interviews and we're talking about it and we're going over it, I actually do think there was Stefan left. He was gone for a month. She was feeling better. She got the student of the month, and there was a boy that she was liking at school. And of course, that didn't make Stefan happy. I'm not saying that's the actual motive, but I think there's a combination of things that stacked on and stacked on. And obviously, Stefan talks about having to take a walk outside and take a breath, a breather. And then when he comes back, Maddie's not alive. Something happened, obviously, that we know. But when you listen to the things that add up and added up to Maddie not being alive any longer, those are those things. Those are those things that Paul is talking about, where we're putting a puzzle together as it goes. Eventually, hopefully, we know the whole puzzle. Now, there's 420 people in chat. Hit the like button, please. Carolina Hurtado, congratulations to everyone. Thank you. Yeah. And you say, if I ever get to be a mom, I would never go to the daughter's birth. I would never not go when I wasn't even working, right? She was an evil potato on the couch. All right, let's keep going. All right, that's a big deal that Maddie did have a crush.
She does say, since Madeline's death, she's been comforting her other friend. And so the investigator is trying to say, is there anything you can tell me about Maddie, that you know yourself, not just through other people? But this girl is saying, I got a lot of info from Maddie's best friend. She's sorry she doesn't remember. She just knows that Maddie was mad because her mother didn't come to her birthday party and she wanted her mom there. And she says, I believe her dad was there, but Maddie's best friend was indeed there at the birthday party. And that was the last day she saw Maddie. So this interview was short. It was over by 12:45 p.m. So it started around 12:39. That's the one. So it was only 6 minutes. So it really, really gives you insight. And the things that stuck with me today, I listened to these interviews several times and trying to just glean different tips. Yes. What stuck with me, what sticks with me is her friend noticing Maddie's change in dress. Now, there's always...
I'm going to stop it on this. Thank you, Paula. We appreciate you for lending us the audio. And now we'll tell you, Paula, there it is. So Grizzly True Crime has the audio of Stefan's older brother, and we're going to listen to that here in a minute. Again, we're going to say thanks to Paula for that. And there it is, Paula. So if anybody is watching Dual, you're going back to her channel, or you talk to her, let her know, instead of trying to do a FOIA, that Grizzly has it and it's right there on her channel. We can listen to the older brother. Plus, I don't want to talk anymore about Maddie, if she was pregnant or not. I just want to know. I want it to be put to rest. I want to see a piece of paper that says there's no charges. There will be 0 charges for Stefan Stearns in a second taking of somebody's life, and Maddie was not pregnant. So I just don't like speculating on it or talking about it when there have been no charges, and the family says right? All right. Now, you think Dawn says she thinks Jen may have flipped in outrage and was responsible. Yeah, we've come to that a few times. We're going back and forth. Now, nobody knew that. I didn't know, not nobody, but whoever's watched this Grizzly knew that. We're gonna play this. I don't know how long it is, but we'll see. Let's listen to Stephen Stern's older brother's interview. I didn't even know it existed.
What else was his childhood like? Did he have a pretty normal childhood? Did he have siblings? Only child?
Well, he has an older brother that was in the Navy, but yeah.
Oh, there we go. So you're not going to write this down.
Okay, so he has an older brother in the Navy. I didn't even know if there was an interview from the older brother in the Navy or what. So we're going to listen to a little bit what they're talking about. I didn't know what this was. Carrie sent it to me. Now we know there's an older brother in the Navy, and maybe Paula does need to FOIA that. This is time stamped to the best. It's time stamped, but they're going to talk about that. So I don't know what it's even going to play. Let's listen together for a minute. And yeah, let's all write it down, because if we don't have an interview from him, we should get one. We should try, see if it exists.
My brain is full. Okay,
all
wait.
of our brains
Older
are
brother
full
was in the
too.
Navy. Ooh, okay. Was he in his brother's shadow a little bit in the Navy? In the Navy.
It
Okay.
was Chris.
Older brother in the Navy, and someone there earlier with that sticker.
So Chris just told us that he has an older brother in the Navy. I didn't know, because I'm communicating with Carrie through chat and through email. And in the email, it says, watch Chris and Deborah Stern's police interview with Stephen Stern's parents. And then time-stamped 1 hour and 57 minutes. Stephen has an older brother in the Navy, 11 years old. So what I think we're listening to right now is exactly what you just said. It was Chris talking about his older brother, and the part that they're talking about right now is the older brother and not the sleeping arrangements, but the fact that Stefan has an older brother. It's not actually his brother talking. So let's listen for a minute.
Was saying, I think it's in this interview actually. They've got multiple files of stuff to check the others to see the new stuff compared to what we have here. This one was from the Kissimmee Police Department. This 1 hour 44 interview.
And sometimes you don't know. I don't think that she's in that part. I'm not sure that she said that they don't have one. She just said that they didn't give her one. And if anybody knows, because we all get different files sometimes, you guys. Once in a while, when we do a FOIA after the people that buy them, we get all the leftover stuff and the new stuff that may come. Sometimes they put stuff into ours that they didn't get, or Grizzly gets stuff that Paula didn't get, and vice versa. So yeah, and thank you for giving us that information. I didn't know what the relation was. I heard he had an older brother and that he changed the spelling of his name. That's all I knew. But this is a really good interview here. I'll link it in chat, because you can see it's like hours long with Chris and Deborah and talking about how he grew up and all this stuff. We'll listen for a few more minutes.
And so he says that Stefan was homeschooled and the mother pretty much did all his work. Like, what? Like, he didn't even earn his own high school diploma. The mother earned it for him. Oh, no. She was like, take the test and everything for him. What? Did he do anything himself?
Yes, I absolutely.
Anything at all. Oh, my word.
They're 11 years apart.
Yeah, that's what we're looking on there. Now they're talking. Now they're talking about the older brother. She just said they're 11 years apart. And Carrie, my dream goal is to timestamp every single video. I used to timestamp every single video when I was done in the very beginning, and then Bree used to timestamp every single video. But then we got like really busy trying to find the content and do and the research, and then we're tired. But yes, timestamping videos. Again, the queen of true crime, Grizzly. All right, let's listen for a minute. They're talking about Stefan's older brother.
So it's basically like having raised two single children.
Okay.
Because of the age separation, what have you, I mean, his older brother, they weren't very close because of the age difference. So his older brother was never around that much.
You hear that?
He joined the Navy right out of high school. He and a few of his friends, and they've done wonderful with their lives. But yeah. No, he loved animals, always picking stuff up and bringing it home. Would not do a single chore around the farm when we had the farm.
Surprise, surprise.
Is he a clean type person, or
Jesus God, no, he's lived in a
Did he use the C word? Clean? No. If always a challenge to get him to pick up his room, always.
I was going to surprise him and put a hazmat sticker across his door. Because
But where's the parenting? It's just like, wow, look at that guy. He's so dirty and he refuses to do any chores. Okay, you're his parents, right? So when he was a child, although they say he got hit by the car when he was 8. So you see, since then, they're just like, oh, well, he could do whatever he wants. Like, what? Like, where's the discipline?
I opened it and looked at it and shut the door again and said, I'm going in there. So then I offered to help him clean his room. I said, look, it's hard when it's that.
Remember, Jen went over and cleaned his room at his parents' house as well. So I ask you again, what purpose did Stefan provide in that family for Jen and for Maddie? Who was really the puppet master in that situation? I just can't comprehend, and I cannot wait until it all comes out. All right, let's listen a little more. We're at an hour and 49 minutes, and there's actually still 424 people in chat. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for learning with us and growing with us.
That bad to even know where to start. I said, I will help you.
Yeah, we try to encourage him for sports. He played baseball, like
he ran track,
but he seemed fine as a kid growing up, and I don't know, maybe later this brain injury started.
He did not have very close friends. He had a couple of close friends and some acquaintances, but those were the only ones. And
because he's a weirdo.
He took Shotokan karate with Brian.
Shomo.
They got up to a brown belt.
Brian.
How were his emotions as a kid?
Volatile, but also, even in kindergarten, before the accident, he didn't participate with the other kids a lot. He would rather go and make up his own game and do his own thing.
He would go do a Jeffrey Dahmer and collect the bones on the side of the road and get the roadkill and do taxidermy. Is that what they said? Probably. Just kidding. I made that up because that's what Jeffrey Dahmer used to do. He'd go find roadkill and play with it. Sounds about right. Anyway, yeah, so they're talking about him in his childhood, and I'm pretty sure that they are definitely not pretty sure. They're going to get up on the stand and they're going to talk about his TBI and how he was when he was a kid. And they're going to back him up like we heard today in the Colin Griffith case where grandma got him off. Unbelievable. I don't think they're going to get Stefan off, but they're going to talk about him in a way that, oh, poor thing, he had a brain injury and that's why he does it. All right. No, now you're deported. You guys in chat. All right, we got a little bit more.
Than that. He has a very high IQ. He's very intelligent.
No, he's not.
And I think that
meandering.
I was in college at the
I would like to object, and in my own opinion, I would like to disagree. Very intelligent. Thinking people are going to believe all that. Oh, I factory reset my phone twice. Yeah. Also.
All right, so I think we made the point here. Chris and Deborah Stearns talk about his older brother that's in the Navy. You guys, I dropped the link so you guys can go over and listen to this. Many of us have heard parts, some, all, or none of it. All right, and then below I put the breaking news. Go back to the very beginning if you came later. And yeah, what a liar she is. If you came later, Madeline Soto's teacher, Italo Brett, arrested for online sex dealings with children and money exchange, etc. So if you go back and watch the very beginning, if we can timestamp that, we will. But I'm also going to do another episode on just him so that it's out there, because I want everyone to see who this guy is. And again, he came from Maddie's Hunter Creek School, and it was her music teacher. We'll agree on music teacher. And Scary 420. I love Scary 420. And it says synth. I see that. Gifted 5 guilty of crime membership. So I hope that you guys get one. Is it already 555? It is. It is 555. 555. And there's 405 people in chat. So let's say a prayer for Maddie. Madeline Soto, Nasiah Harris, and of course, all of the cases we work on. I don't know what I'm covering tomorrow, but I guess probably Stephen Stern stuff or Madeline Soto, since more documents just came out today to us. They were released in the FOIA. And so you got enough images to make a slideshow. There you go. So we'll do a slideshow and we'll make Italo Brett, his last name is Bonini, we'll make it be out there so that he doesn't post an ad somewhere and say, hey, get your children music lessons, get personal music lessons with me. Right? Yeah. All right. Justice for all children. I love you guys. An hour and 53 minutes. And now I'm not going to get my kid because my wife already picked her up, but I am going to go hang out with him and see what kind of construction went on for the day. Love you guys. And I'll see you back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. Love you guys. And thank you.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?